It was Aristotle who said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So how do we create new empowering patterns to ensure a more fulfilling and purposeful life? Well, let me start this video by giving you a little recap. When you have a thought, your brain cells communicate with one another via a process called neuronal firing. So when brain cells communicate frequently, the connection between them strengthens and it creates a pathway. And this enables faster transmission. So it means if you practice hitting a tennis ball or golf ball enough times, it becomes automatic and your neurons wire and fire together. And if you practice the same unresourceful pattern, it also becomes an automatic response. Your patterns in thinking literally become embedded in the network of brain cells, and each time you repeat a particular thought, the connection between those cells becomes stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So if you're continually sidetracked by poor habits or any of the key patterns and pessimistic thoughts, then you get stuck in a loop. So that explains why some people find it so difficult to change. The more the negative thought loops run, the stronger the neural pathways become and the more difficult it becomes to stop them. Perhaps you remember the old vinyl records. Sometimes they used to get stuck in a groove and play the same 4 notes over and over and over again until you just kind of like nudged it along. And if you've heard the saying, stuck in a rut, well, now you know the reason it's so true. It was once believed that the human brain had a relatively small window of opportunity to develop new pathways in a lifespan. And after that, the pathway was just carved in stone, so to speak. That was that. And it's probably the reason you've heard many older people say, "Oh, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks," or "I'm too old to change." Well, the field of neuroplasticity is opening up new possibilities on how learning takes place, with the good news being that you can teach an old dog new tricks, and you can create new and more empowering key patterns to operate from. So if neurons that wire together fire together, that would also mean that neurons that fire apart wire apart. And what this means is that it is possible to change, and that if you want to learn a new skill or even a new way of being or a new key pattern, a new neural pathway is created the more you practice. Studies have actually shown that the brain can change based purely on mental training. And this, of course, has huge implications for mental practice and its impact on overall well-being. To highlight the mental aspect, Australian psychologist Alan Richardson ran an interesting experiment with a group of basketball players. What he did was he divided the team into 3 groups, and the first group would practice for 20 minutes every day, physically practice. The second group were not allowed to physically practice, they would only visualize themselves making free throws, but no real practice was allowed. The third group were not allowed to practice physically, they were not allowed to visualize. Well, a few weeks later, the results were astounding. There was significant improvement from the group that only visualized. In fact, they were almost as good as the guys who actually practiced. So neuroplasticity is what makes personal growth and development possible and refers to the brain's ability to restructure itself after practice and training. So we're going to do a little experiment to show you the power of mental visualization, mental imagery. So what I want you to do is to bring your hands together like this. So make sure you line them up perfectly. And you'll see that your hands should be the same length. And don't worry, some people have one hand that's slightly longer than the other. But what you're going to show me is that you can actually make one of your hands grow longer. All right, so you've got your hands together. What I want you to do is to take them apart, and let's use the power of your mind to get one of your hands to grow. So put your right hand or your left, preferably your dominant hand, and rest it on your lap. And now close your eyes. So with your eyes closed, become aware of your hand and connect with your hand on your lap. Just become aware of your hand on your lap and feel the nerves in the hand beginning to grow. Good. Feel the fingers lengthening, expanding. And in your mind's eye, see the bones lengthen. And just mentally say the words grow and extend, grow and extend. So, with your eyes closed, imagine your hand, visualize your hand on your lap. Feel the nerves and all the energy in your hand. Feel your fingers extending. Feel your bones extending in your hand. Imagine your hand extending, extending, so you're wrapping your fingers round your kneecap. Again, grow and expand and stretch. Reach and grow. See what you see. Notice what you notice as you imagine your hand expanding, reaching and growing even longer, stretching so that it goes beyond your knees. Good. Now I want you to open your eyes, and what I want you to do is put the palms of your hands together again. So again, just line them up. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. I've got one hand that's considerably longer than the other. Have you got the same? So just shake them out, shake them out. So if you notice that one hand was longer, that you were actually able to make your hand grow in 15 to 30 seconds, because that's all I gave you, 15 to 30 seconds of imagining the growth in your mind. So if you can do that in 15 to 30 seconds and make your hand grow, imagine the growth that you can create in your organization, in your life, in your business, in all areas of your life. So a little tip here, you'll find guided visualizations and imagery inductions for free download on the products page at www.thenlpmatrix.me. So you've now experienced the power of your mind, the power of visualization and mental imagery to create shifts and changes. So here's another question. Would you walk barefoot across a pathway of hot coals? Well, let me share the second way to shift those key patterns that may be sabotaging you and your life. I'm often referred to as a fire starter because one of the breakthrough experiences I often lead for organizations who want to reignite their teams is the fire walk, encouraging and motivating people to walk across burning hot coals of about 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you're probably asking, well, Carol, does the world really need more firewalkers? And that's a question I'm often asked. And the answer is probably not. But what the world does need, and what most organizations need, is people who can face their fears with courage. And I've seen the firewalk inspire that sort of courage in people. Not only that, it creates a completely new experience that rapidly creates new neural connections. It's the ritual of the firewalk, a life-defining moment which creates a kind of rock your world, blow your mind experience that completely changes the neural connections, because most of us have no programs already existing to know how to behave or respond in a situation like a firewalk. So what it does is creates new connections really, really fast. Not only that, by expanding your paradigm, you add new options to the list your brain carries around. So to expand the boundaries of what you already know, so if you want more opportunities for growth, achievement, results, you need to literally break through, challenge old paradigms so that you can say, I can't believe I did that. So that's the reason I run breakthrough events, such as the firewalk, arrow breaks, rebar bending, What they all do is create very rapid shifts from can't do to can do. And trust me, the results are very observable. The third way to shift those key patterns is with NLP. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. What exactly is it? Well, let me start by giving you an example. If you need to get somewhere, a good map and good directions can make all the difference in you reaching your destination or not. Would you agree? So if one of your friends tells you about a fantastic restaurant they've just been to, you'd probably want to go there too. So, of course, naturally, you ask your friend, well, how do I get to this fantastic restaurant? Where is it? Now, instead of giving you directions, your friend tells you to visualize yourself finding the restaurant and to put a note on your fridge door saying, I can easily and effortlessly find the restaurant. Well, you've experienced the power of visualization, but in terms of finding a restaurant, it certainly sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? What if instead of getting to the restaurant, it's about getting a new job or building your self-confidence, and you just have a little note on the fridge that says, I will get a new job, or I am confident. Those are going to help, and they're not enough. So you ask your friend for a map or directions to the restaurant. And this time instead, she tells you that you really need to consider why you need to go to that restaurant and to truly understand the reason you want to go to the restaurant. Again, it sounds stupid, doesn't it? When all you wanted was a map and directions. Most self-help approaches want you to really analyze and dig deep down into your problems, maybe for weeks, months, even years, maybe even a lifetime. And at the end of all that digging and analysing, you still don't understand your problem, and more importantly, you still haven't got a solution. So here's the great thing about NLP. It's more of a how-to, and it helps you recognise key patterns in your life that are not working, and it gives you the directions and the guidelines and the map to get to where you do want to go. As I said, many self-help approaches focus on your outside world and changing your outside world. This is again where NLP differs because you're looking inside yourself first to create better results on the outside. So during our NLP programs, you'll have the opportunity to look inside yourself and to make very rapid shifts, changes and transformations in what you believe, what you feel, how you communicate to yourself and others, what's really important to you, and what you really want to achieve, as well as remove unwanted key patterns really easily and effortlessly. And when I say easily and effortlessly, I'm also talking about quickly, because some of these key patterns can be removed in 10 minutes or less. So my definition of NLP, it's simply the user manual for your mind. It's like the code for you. Now, I also include timeline therapy and hypnosis in my NLP programs that I run. These are just additional tools for personal development and replacing key patterns that are sabotaging you with much more empowering patterns in thinking and behavior. Timeline therapy is a wonderful technique for removing negative emotions such as guilt and shame. Now, that was one of the key patterns, wasn't it? So, like NLP, timeline therapy works very, very rapidly, and it means that you can remove a negative emotion or a limiting decision or limiting belief in 10 minutes or less. Really. Now, you can find details of my NLP certification programs at www.thenlpmatrix.me, thenlpmatrix.me. And here's another bonus for you. You're also welcome to download a free and short e-video program, 4 short videos delivered to you over 4 days that help you understand a little bit more about NLP. And the website is nlpuncovered.com. Now, during this video series, my intention has been to help you recognize key patterns that may be tripping you up It's like stumbling around in the dark, and then when you switch on the light, you can see what's been tripping you up and hampering you in your life. Once you recognize a key pattern, you can start to create shifts and changes, whether through now being aware of the key pattern or utilizing mental imagery and visualization, going through a breakthrough experience such as the fire walk, board breaks, arrow breaks, rebar bending, glass walking, there's many of them, or utilizing one of the many tools and techniques from the NLP toolbox. I also work with many other transformational tools and techniques such as light language, sound healing, Kambo. It's an indigenous medicine from the upper Amazon. And with all these tools and techniques, I look forward to sharing more on these in future video programs or when we have the opportunity to meet in person. As always, enjoy the discovery, enjoy the growth and the possibilities.